Hello friends! Yes, I got sick for the first time with rheumatoid arthritis. I want to give a quick update on everything that has been happening to me over the last couple of weeks. So my thoughts and feelings beforehand were, hey, I understand that my immune system is compromised, and I understand that the medications that I have to take to control it are going to suppress my immune system. With all of that knowledge, I was afraid of getting sick for the first time, regardless of what the sickness was. It could be, just a simple cold or the flu or COVID or something like that. So I was really worried about it. I was thinking all in my head about, well, it's going to be the worst thing ever, and then I'm not going to be able to take my medicine, and then I'm going to have a flare and all this kind of stuff. So all of these thoughts were just roaming around in my head. And then what actually happened was I did get sick with like what I would consider maybe cold, like a cold, but I did have a low-grade fever. I first had a sore throat, and then I had a stuffy nose and a low-grade fever. So it wasn't too bad, and honestly, it didn't feel any different than it did before I had RA. I know it's kind of weird to say this, but I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't as scary as I thought maybe it would have been. I did have to delay taking my medication. My doctor said 7 to 10 days from onset of symptoms, and so that's what I did. I did start to feel, like the RA fatigue and the RA flu-like symptoms, just body aches and things coming back because I wasn't taking my medicine as frequently as I was, but it wasn't as bad. I didn't have like a full-on flare that I was afraid of. On a positive note, the moment I could take my medicine, I take it at night before I go to bed. The very next morning, I could feel a significant difference in my fatigue level and body aches, flu-like symptoms, that sort of thing. So I was super thankful for when I was able to take my medicine again. I realized that there are some more, illnesses or sickness in my future. This isn't the only one. It was just my first experience getting a sickness after my diagnosis. So I realized for some RA patients, they can have more frequent infections and more serious complications with it. And so, I am aware of those things, but I just wanted to share my first experience because it was my first. The afterthoughts and my thoughts post illness is that it wasn't as bad or as scary as I was making it up to be in my mind. And so sometimes our minds can just run away with us and go into all different types of directions, and sometimes they're not based on individual reality. Yeah, I just wanted to share my experience, and sometimes the experiences that we have, we can work them up in our minds a little bit more than they are in reality. I'm just happy that the first experience is over with and the first delay medication, is behind me, and I'm doing better now. Another thing I wanted to update was that since I've been on Humira, actually I'm on the biosimilar, which is called Hyrimoz. I've been on that for several months, and I can actually see that it's making a difference in my mobility, especially. We did go on a trip a few weeks ago. It was just a quick weekend trip. I always bring my wheelchair just in case, and so I only had to use it once the entire trip. Sometimes it is a combination of the fatigue and the mobility issues. It's not one or the other. Again, I'm so thankful that I have that mobility device whenever I need it. For the most part, I did a lot of walking. I have a varicose vein on my left leg that appeared during pregnancy 13 years ago, and it has been kind of bothersome here and there, but like mild. It's not been too bad at all. During about March through June, when I was not walking very much, I was doing grocery pickup all the time, and I couldn't walk very well. Because my mobility went down and I was sitting a lot, I started to have a lot of pain in my varicose vein. It became very bothersome to the point I told my doctor about it. We did a referral to a vein specialist. I went to see them because I was thinking it was the inflammation from my knee and my Baker cyst and all of that was just exacerbating it. But she said no, it was the mobility. It's so important to keep moving and to keep walking, even if it's just minimal, like whatever we can do, because moving helps the body in so many different ways. Whenever I am like in a place where we're needing to do a lot of walking and we bring my wheelchair, I try not to sit in it as much as I can because I know it's so important for me to keep walking, but it's there in case I need it. Yeah, it's just so interesting how in just a short period of time, I can notice a difference in my body in other areas that are highly affected if I'm not moving as much or if I'm not walking, which is just general exercise, which is so important. So luckily, since I've been walking again, my varicose vein is not bothering me as much. So I'm not moving forward with anything with the vein specialist. They just said they are there in case I want a procedure done. But now that I'm doing better and my knee's working better and I'm walking better, I don't want to mess up anything that's going on. So I've chosen not to move forward with any type of varicose vein procedure. Super happy about that. We have choices, which is so nice, We need to make really good and healthy choices for our health. Sometimes that means saying no. My experience is a testament to that. So walking is so much better than having some type of medical procedure. So there's my update, friends, on getting sick for the first time with rheumatoid arthritis. And I'm just curious if you have RA and you've had some illnesses or sickness, or maybe you've had the flu or COVID while being diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. I would love to hear how your experience was with that. So please share with me in the comments below. And if you haven't yet heard my tips for someone who is newly diagnosed with RA, or if you haven't heard my original RA diagnosis story, you can check that out in the next video that's on the screen. And I'll see you in the next video, friends. Bye.